Hey guys, today we're going to talk about protein supplements. So I had a friend of mine ask me about a specific protein, and then he asked me, like, what is the benefit of all this? Why should I take this? Sell me on this. And I've always been a fan of protein, but not really a fan of supplements overall. Normally, if you're taking like specific pills, I just feel that the benefit, or if you're talking in statistical terms, the effect size of taking this stuff generally isn't worth the time or the money of taking it. But protein is not that. So let's start with this. So basically, the recommended daily allowance of protein that you see, like a percentage on the back of things, you'll say, okay, so this protein supplement has 34 grams of protein in it, and that's 68% of my daily value. So those numbers, that percentage, is based off of basically minimal operation, right? It is not optimal operation. So to be a little bit more healthy and to support a very active diet and maybe some muscle building or maybe some fat loss, you're going to need to up your protein intake. It helps you produce a little bit more caloric burn throughout the day, just because it's called the thermic effect of food. It takes a little bit more energy to digest protein rather than simple sugars or whatever. So having a protein supplement that you can just scoop into water and then down makes that a lot easier. It helps buffer the added intake of protein. So whereas I believe the recommended daily value or recommended value is 50 grams per day for a normal size 180 pound man, the accepted recommendations for physically active men and women is 1 gram per pound of body weight. So 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So that's a lot. So if I weigh 170-ish, that's 170 grams of protein. So having a powder helps me buffer that. So that's basically point number one. Point number two, where do we go? So I've been reading this diet book, or I haven't been reading it. I read it all in one day because I loved it. It's called The Meta-Shred Diet by Mike Roussel. Highly recommended, my new favorite diet book. One of the things he popularizes in the presentation he gave here in Indianapolis last fall and in this book is that with the normal American diet, people tend to skew their protein intake towards the end of their day. So they'll have very, very small amounts of protein earlier on in their breakfast meals, and then they'll superload it later on in the day. And the reason that is currently seen as suboptimal is that with a certain level of protein intake, you get a spike in protein synthesis in your muscles. So the level is about 30 grams. So once you get 30 grams, this specific amino acid known as leucine, with that 30 gram serving, helps spark more protein synthesis. So it helps, if you're losing weight, it helps keep the muscle around, and if you're gaining weight, it helps build more muscle instead of fat. So the idea is that you want to spread out at least 3 sections of your day where you're getting at least 30 grams, and spread them out at least 3 hours apart from one another, right? If I do 30 and then I wait an hour and then I do 30 more, it's like I had one meal. So spread out 30 grams at least 3 hours a day for more protein synthesis. So that's one of the big benefits that I see throughout these days of getting a protein supplement. Now, there are a ton of protein supplements. If you buy some random stuff at GNC, you might get like half protein, half of what it's saying that you're supposed to get, because supplements are not monitored by the FDA. Now, I've seen some studies, some independent studies that some various websites will do. I'll link to one below. But independent companies will examine some protein supplements, and the one that consistently has been coming out on top, and the one that I've been using for a long time, is a brand known as Muscle Feast. They are our Indiana neighbor in Ohio, and their labels currently look something like this. I have the whey hydrolysate. Generally, I just recommend now to clients that they just get the premium blend, premium protein blend. It's currently going for $30 for 2 pounds or $58 for 5 pounds, and 5 pounds will last you a long time. You got to think like you're buying food, right? You buy food anyway, and that food will last you, the span of a month at least, depending on how much you're using it. So Muscle Feast premium protein blend, I'll link to that below as well. The other thing that I like about Muscle Feast is they offer an unflavored variation. So I'm currently drinking that. The flavor I'm getting in here is this blueberry, flax, walnut, and kind of a sharp taste that you get from kefir or the fermented yogurt drink stuff. The unflavored protein is not very tasty, but when I put it with some other stuff, it doesn't confound this taste. I think this might taste better with vanilla protein or whatever. I've had it with the chocolate, and it doesn't taste very good because it doesn't really jive with the blueberry stuff. So the unflavored thing is, it's just like a more pure supplement for you to take. You don't need that, and I don't necessarily recommend that to most people because it's not very palatable. Most people are looking for something that they can at least drink and don't have to just scarf liquid-wise. The hydrolysate, the hydro, is the worst tasting drink that I've ever had. The worst tasting protein, definitely. Very, very kind of gross. They recommend either mix it with something or put it in 4 ounces of water and just down it. The hydrolysate's a really pure, especially since it's Muscle Feast, right? It's a really pure type of protein. You'll see whey hydrolysate, you'll see whey concentrate, you'll see whey isolate. They're all different in their general purities and their ability to be digested. So concentrate is generally seen as the cheap kind. Isolate is a nice balance of it doesn't taste terrible and it's pretty bioavailable to you when you drink it. And then hydrolysate is supposed to be digested in like 10 minutes because the powder's just smaller. It's very fine. You can see it when you open it up. The idea was to get the protein into your muscle as quickly as possible after a workout. I don't think that's necessarily necessary. So that's why I recommend the blend to people. And the other thing about the blend is that it comes with casein or micellar casein. So micellar casein is a slower digested form of protein. It's not the whey form of protein that you would get from... I don't really know where casein and where whey comes from exactly. Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to know. Or I'll look it up later. Try to beat me, though. So that will come with it, and it takes a little bit longer to digest. So you get this nice blend of... Let's even look it up. So you get a blend of isolate, you get a blend of hydrolysate, and you get a blend of micellar casein. As they advertise, the ideal combination of fast and slow digesting proteins. That's why I recommend the blend. It works well after workouts. It works well in random shakes throughout the day. What else should we say? So if you've just worked out, it's a nice, just having protein powder around is a nice way to get another spike of that protein synthesis. Generally, if you're trying to get that 30 grams that we were talking about earlier, you're going to need about a scoop and a half. If you get the hydrolysate, since it's so fine and powdery, it packs more into one scoop. So I can get 34 grams out of one scoop. But if I take a normal casein, it's only about 20 grams. So you need about a scoop and a half. That's about it. Do you have any recommendations? Any proteins that maybe I should try? I'd love to hear more. Until next time, see you later.